Hello there, guys. This is going to be a segment where I talk about things that I don't like. And no, I'm not going to rap about things I don't like. But I do want to talk about Windows 10 a little bit. This is going to be off the cuff, so I kind of. Sorry for the oohs, the ahs, the ums, and the whatever. But this is just no script. I don't use scripts. I don't like scripts because I prefer to just be real about things. But pretty much this is going to be me talking about Windows 10, about why I don't really care for it all that much. Because I mentioned in my video where I got the Arendelle MacBook Pro and the MacBook Pro Madness video and a bunch of other shit that I really don't care for Windows 10 all that much, and that's kind of the reason why I ditched the Precision, which is a really powerful machine, and went to and basically got the hell away from Windows because really, I don't like that my future is tied to Microsoft. So, let's get right into it. I pretty much switched full-time to Mac few months ago. It kind of started when I got the custom built that I'm currently actually recording this on. Back in April of 2015, I sold my Retina MacBook Pro because Yosemite was an absolute dog on it. But pretty much I used that money because the deal was, you all know Manly. If you're new to the channel, Manly was a good friend. Well, is a good friend of Ryan and I's, but unfortunately he moved to the Philippines. Hung out since. He made a deal to me, and he is the real MVP when it comes to stuff like this. Because normally what he would do is he had, quite a bit of money. Not rich, but enough money. And what he would do to help me or Ryan out is he would buy something of ours, even if we didn't need it, and we just turn around on eBay and flip it. So in this case, I expressed kind of disappointment with my MacBook Pro after the Yosemite update because the animations were lagging, and I actually had to run it in non-retina mode to keep it from lagging like a bitch. So what he did was he offered to buy it from me, and I made him a deal. I said, well, here's what I'll do. If you buy me the fixins for a 4790K setup, I will just give you the MacBook Pro. And he threw in his E6430 on top of it, so I wouldn't be without a laptop. So he bought me a 4790K, a Gigabyte Z97 MX Gaming 5 motherboard. And yeah, that was about it because I already had the rest of the parts. And the rest, as they say, is history. Now, Manly was actually poking around, and I had no intention of Hackintoshing this machine because I tried to do it with my AMD rig back in the day when you could actually do that, and it did not go well. It most definitely did not go well. I did do it on an EPC, but I mean, that was about the best it went, but I had no Wi-Fi. So Manly was looking around, and he noticed that my rig could be Hackintoshed. I had the right parts for it. So I did it, and the rest, as they say, is history, and I've been running a Hackintosh partition ever since. So, last few months ago, I actually made the decision because Ryan made a deal I could not turn down. Basically, I got my Nexus 7 at the time back for an SSD to trade him. So I did that. Got a bit of yawn. I did that. I gave him my Windows partition SSD and my Windows SSD, and just went full Mac. And I do have Windows 7 back on this machine, but it's on a slow hard drive because I only use it for gaming. That's it. But after that, then I still had the Dell Precision. And Windows 10 was starting to release. Now, Windows 10... Here's where we start with Windows 10. Windows 10 is not a bad OS. I'm not going to say it's a bad OS in and of itself. It's a great OS, kind of like in the way Windows 8 was a great OS at its core. Windows 10 is the same way. However, where Windows 10 really starts to screw the pooch is with the update situation. And overall, a general notion of we don't care what you want. This is all about what we want. So, it was originally announced with Windows 10 that there would be forced updates, and in one of the insider builds, I believe it was forced driver updates, which turned out to be very disastrous, and Microsoft thankfully cleaned up their act on that front, where, yeah, it would force NVIDIA drivers on you that would kill multi-monitor support. Now, seeing as I'm running a triple head setup right now, that would be disastrous for my setup, and you could install the old NVIDIA drivers. However, it would just reinstall the broken drivers. And the worst part is the people who use this feature, they kept trying to reinstall the broken drivers for months after release. It's ridiculous. There was also a few times where it'll shove an update down your throat that breaks the system entirely. I put my girlfriend on Windows 10 on her computer just to see how she'd like it. She liked it. She liked the Core OS, but then it forced an update on her that broke her system entirely, and I had to reinstall everything. Even rolling it back would not work. So, at that point, I just said, no, you're going back to Windows 7. At least Windows 7 works without a hitch on your machine. So that happened, and then on my machine, the only machine I had Windows 10 installed on was my Dell Precision M4700, and this is actually the machine that went on a trip with me to Oregon, and that's when I upgraded it, right before that, which was a really stupid decision. I really shouldn't have done it. But now the problem here is I have a mountain of Windows 7 Ultimate licenses that I got as payment for a job I did back in 2013 or so. Now, I used one of those to upgrade, which means I'm on Windows 10 Pro with that machine. And I had defer upgrades turned on for the trip because I didn't want it like pulling down an update that would break the machine. Furthermore, I didn't want it even updating because in Southern Oregon, internet is very, very, very hard to come by. And normally when you do, it's slow. But most of the time I was hotspotting off my phone because the hotel Wi-Fi was so awful that you might as well not even use it. So I did that, and I noticed it kept trying to restart for updates, even though I had turned them off entirely. I looked at my phone's hotspot settings and noticed it was indeed trying to pull down a big update, and I was like, no, I have defer upgrades turned on. What are you doing? So every time it would just keep trying to restart for an update, and it was to the point where I couldn't even hotspot it to my phone anymore because it kept trying to pull down an update. And even though it acknowledged my phone as a hotspot, which usually tells it, okay, don't update ever. But that was right after launch, so it was a buggy pile of crap back then. So I will completely give Microsoft a pass on that, even as much as it annoyed me. But though what really annoyed me is that the fact also that they're putting through updates while on battery power. If I'm on battery, I need to shut that machine down now. I need to shut that machine down immediately. If I'm restarting, I need to shut it down immediately because every minute means something to me when I'm on battery. Rather, if there is an update queued, it is going to fucking try to update even if you're on battery, and I do not know if this has been fixed on portable machines yet. I may try to install it on my MacBook Pro, just give it another run before the supposed upgrade offer runs out. I have something to say on that, but we'll get to that later. Updating on battery is never a good idea, and just no. But really, that coupled with the fact I could not get out of an update, I could not legitimately get out of an update, I could not shut down or restart the machine without forcing it to update. Unlike OS X, which does allow me to restart the machine, shut down, do what the hell ever I want, without having to apply an update. That's really what I care about. Like, OS X nails the update mechanism. It really does. So, the funny thing is that Microsoft has gone on record, and we're kind of done with the updates for now. has gone on the record as saying all these little tools that, take back your privacy are foolish because it's still sending data to Microsoft, blah, 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 and such like that. There's also the whole, and we're kind of going back to updates for a second. There's also this thing where updates also uninstall quote-unquote incompatible apps. That's bullshit. That is honestly bullshit. Going back to the Mac for a second, there was a lot of rumors that Apple would try to iOSify to kind of, for lack of a better term, Mac OS 10. I guess I should say gentrify OS 10 a little bit and make it much like iOS, where all your I'm just trying to think of the word here. All of your permissions are taken away. All of your rights are taken away. You can only install apps from the App Store, stuff like that. There was a rumor that Apple was going to do that. Now, Apple has really kind of gone against their pro user base in the last few years. But I know Apple obviously is not stupid enough to risk just causing a mass exodus of users by doing that. Windows, on the other hand, it just seems like they're taking away your rights and your privileges in the OS. With regards to the updates, you have no control over the updates process unless you're a pro user, which is ridiculous. Why do I think that's ridiculous? And here we go back with the updates again. I think it's ridiculous because Windows 10 Home is the one with the forced updates. Who the hell out there is going to be able to recover from a failed update that breaks the entire fucking system? Not your typical home user, Microsoft. The pro users can do it. So, okay, while I wouldn't care for it if they force the pro users to take updates, I would understand the rationale behind it. I would understand, yeah, the pro users, the enterprise users, well, they wouldn't do this on enterprise because that'd be foolish. The pro users are more apt, more technically savvy. They can better recover from a failed update than a home user can, on average. Whereas if my girlfriend, like I said with my girlfriend, she got forced an update that pretty much bricked her computer. Well, soft bricked it in this case. What'd she do? She's pretty street smart, but she's not very technically savvy. And she came to me and she's like, shit, my stuff's broken. What do I do? So they're forcing updates on the market that cannot possibly hope to recover from a failed update. So back to control. Now, again, I find it funny that Apple, which is the company that has kind of embraced the walled garden, is with OS 10, and I apologize for the dogs in the background, with OS 10, they are not forcing any sort of loss of control. But the only thing they do is they have Gatekeeper on at the beginning. They have System Integrity Protection, which is quickly disabled if you boot to recovery. And the Gatekeeper can be shut off in security preferences. It doesn't take a lot to disable. It's kind of like if you have a Nexus device and you turn on side loading apps. Basically the same concept. So OS 10 kind of gives you more control. It's ironic, right? But then with Windows 10, it's like Microsoft, again, like so many people said, Microsoft's trying to position Windows 10 as a service. So they kind of want to keep you locked out of it because you don't want to find a way around some of their stuff. So, that's probably why they're doing what they're doing. It sucks, but I guess that's the future of Microsoft. So there's pretty much that. Now, we're going to go back into the updates again for a completely different reason. Now, you would think, okay, Windows 10 is cool, Windows 10 is fun. I'm going to take a quick drink here because I am getting quite thirsty. But people like to stick with what works. Or say Windows 10 works better on some hardware, or Windows 7 works better on some hardware than Windows 10. Same with Windows 8. But Microsoft literally cannot take no for an answer. You've probably seen all around the internet that people have been forced to upgrade to Windows 10 without their knowledge, or will notice that Windows 7 or Windows 8 is trying to actually update them stealthily without telling them. In fact, David Ruddock, a writer at Android Police that I very much like, actually tweeted yesterday that his system scheduled an update to Windows 10 for the 15th of May without his knowledge. But Microsoft just won't take no for an answer, pretty much, with the Windows 10 upgrade. Some of us like Windows 7. I like Windows 7 because it gives me more control over my stuff. Whereas Windows 10 kind of just wrestles that control from me, like control over the updates and such like that. Some of us just prefer 7. It runs well enough. But Microsoft is like, no, that's not cool. We're going to force... They keep trying to sneak Windows 7 updates that are actually basically Windows 10 updates that will then upgrade you to Windows 10 without your knowledge. Thankfully, there are excellent utilities that stop this, like the Get Windows 10 control panel, which allows you to completely turn it off. But it's still ridiculous that Microsoft is going after these people and saying, you're not allowed to run Windows 7 or Windows 8, even if you're completely happy with it, even if support for Windows 7 runs until 2020. You're not allowed. I can kind of understand at the same time why they're doing it. They don't want another XP on their hands, because Windows 7 is kind of on the verge of becoming another XP. It's just so good. It's really, honestly, the last good operating system that Microsoft has made. But I can see why. They want to force people off it. They want Windows 10 to be adopted because, you know, they don't want another XP. They want everybody on 10. And they want everybody on 10 probably because of the analytics crap. They want people on 10 because they have some grand plan to monetize it. But it's just ridiculous how far they're going to try and push people on the 10. No means no. They should offer it maybe... They should just offer it once. If you don't like it, you don't want it, just stop. Just don't do it. There's an easy way to get Windows 10, even if you like mistakenly decline the offer. You just go to Microsoft's website and they have a damn installer right there. But I just think that for those of us who paid good chunks of money for our Windows 7 licenses, like I did, no means no. I want to use the software I paid for. I don't want to be forced into some inferior system that takes away my control because Microsoft mandates it. That's my beef with the whole update mechanism. No means no. Stop trying to force people to update. Let people update of their own volition. In fact, I'd be willing to bet that a lot of Microsoft's upgrade numbers are from people who got forced into Windows 10. And they're like, yay, look at all the people that have upgraded. Look at all that. And no. They're not legitimate upgrades. So, I'm going to wrap this up with a talk about the whole notion of the upgrade program and why I think that Microsoft is kind of lying through their teeth with that. Now, Windows 10 was free by the time, and I'll be eating a lot of crow, but Windows 10 was free from, trying to think, July, well, yeah, let's just say July 2015 to July 2016. They're now coming out and saying, yo, it's going away, you need to upgrade now, upgrade now. Yeah, it's going away. I have a theory that really the whole notion of the timed upgrade is bullshit. Pure bullshit. Why? Because look at how the desperation tactics Microsoft has used to get Windows 10 out there already. This whole thing smacks of we're just making an artificial deadline to force people to upgrade or to make people who are sitting on the fence jump over into Windows 10. Now, why I think this is bullshit, too, is with the first year of upgrades, they've already pretty much thrown all the money that they could have made from end user upgrades out the window. They've lost a ton of money from this. Or there is a theory that Windows 10 is basically an open beta right now, but they're saying it's released, so we're going to go with that. But pretty much all the home end user all the home end user upgrades are accounted for. Most of them are. And pretty much all the money they would have made off of upgrades and new license sales is gone. They've lost so much money. And that, I mean, the reason Windows 10, where Microsoft even gets their money is from system builders, OEMs paying the licensing costs, enterprises, that kind of stuff. So there's really no money at this point to be made from the end user market. And they're going around saying, well, you need to upgrade, you need to upgrade. My theory with this is that they're going to announce the end of the upgrade. And they're going to actually end it. And what they're going to do is they may do this to feel out the market. They may do this just as an artificial delay. But they're going to charge for Windows 10 for a short period of time. They're going to charge, like, maybe a week. I don't know. The exact timing is up for discussion. But they're going to charge for Windows 10 for a short while. Then they're going to come back and say that, well, by popular demand, we're making Windows... If you have a Windows 7 license and you're an end user, because you will note that for enterprise editions of Windows 7, you cannot freely upgrade. You have to pay. But they're going to come forward and say, yo, due to popular demand, we're bringing back the free upgrade indefinitely for home users and end users with, any of the standard editions of Windows 7, basic, premium, business, and ultimate. So my guess is that they're just kind of bullshitting about this whole update deadline to basically get people who are like, I don't know if I like Windows 10, oh shit, it's coming up, I should probably just YOLO go for it. That's what they're trying to do. They want those people to basically jump the cliff already. And I mean, it's lying through their teeth. It really is. I would not be surprised if Microsoft revives the Mojave experiment or some crap like that. But yeah, they're basically lying through their teeth with Windows 10. I really don't like it. Now, Windows 10, in and of itself, with a few very subtle tweaks, could be an excellent OS. And they're actually doing some good things with it, like Bash support and such like that. They're doing good things with it, but I just don't like the way Microsoft is handling the OS. Windows 10 is great. It's a core OS. Kind of like Windows 8, again, was a core OS, was great. The problem is they messed it up with the Metro UI. They messed up Windows 10 with their handling of it, which really is a shame. But that's pretty much the way it goes, I guess. So pretty much that's exactly everything on why I really don't like Windows 10. I really don't care for it all that much, and why I decided to just get the hell out while I can. Some of you are going to agree, some of you are going to disagree, but really that's kind of my opinion. I don't hate Windows 10. I just am disappointed by it. And how Microsoft is kind of handling it.